Hi, can y'all hear me? Yes,
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, we can.
I can hear you. I'm Judge Huerta. I'm going to be hearing the docket this morning, or actually this case this morning. I set it for a status hearing. Let's introduce ourselves so that for the record, and then bear with me, I have a sore throat. So if y'all can't hear me, feel free to interrupt me and I'll repeat myself. This is cause number 2021 CCV 0004 Lulu Diaz versus San Juanita Ontiveros. Who represents Lulu Diaz? And is Lulu Diaz present?
Why are the ones that are signing at the end?
Miss,
Yes, she's here.
okay, Mr. Juan Guerra, is that you? Do you represent?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And then for the defense, who's here?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Respondent.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert Flores for San Juanito Ontiveros, the respondent. She is present, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may speak out of line, my apologies. I just wanted to confirm that the court has my last filings before them, which is a motion and a brief in support.
Yes, I do have that, and that's what we're going to talk about this morning. So
Thank you,
basically, this morning, what I had scheduled was a status hearing just to kind of see where we're at with this case and what we needed to set to give y'all the appropriate time to present your case, and so I could make a ruling. I did get this brief, I guess, in support of dismissal. Of course, Mr. Guerra needs to be given an opportunity to respond. So I will give him an opportunity to respond to that brief. And then, so I guess I want to know from you, I guess the plaintiff, tell me where we're at and give a little bit about the case and what we're going to need to do and what type of hearings y'all are going to need to hear or want me to hear from this point on. So go ahead, Mr. Guerra. And I did I hear correctly that you're new to the case?
No, ma'am, I've been at it since the JP, but I think the plaintiff is them. If you want to hear from me or from them, because they're the ones that.
Oh, you represent Ontiveros. I'm so sorry. Lulu Diaz is represented. Okay, all right. There we go. Okay, let me. I'm getting myself acclimated, so I'm glad we had this hearing. So let me hear from Lulu Diaz, attorney, and then give me a rundown as to why we're here and what type of hearing we're going to need to set.
Judge, this particular case stems from an eviction. I believe that they were trying to evict Ms. Diaz. I'm trying to figure out why they have her as a plaintiff. I think the initial was Mr. Flores trying to evict my client Lulu Diaz from her house. And
anytime there is an appeal from JP Court, the appellee becomes the plaintiff in the county court, and it's a trial de novo. So at this point, then.
Well, being as it may, Your Honor, this becomes a question of title, and once that this becomes a question of title, and then it has to go ahead and move toward the district court. We're alleging, they're saying that back in 2010, I believe, Lulu Diaz's common law husband, Mr. Juan Castro, went ahead and transferred his property to Ms. Ontivero, and I think that that's what he filed on his brief, that he had gotten that gift deed or something from Ontivero. The Juan continued living in that house. The house burned down, and then the federal government came in and gave him a grant in 2020, and they built his house. So it's a house, a federal government grant. And so on the grant papers, in order for Mr. The deceased, which is Juan Castro.
Hold on a second. Are you making the argument? Or are you just giving me,
I'm just giving you a brief status because obviously the status is that we're asking for a jury trial. We submitted our jury fees. It's a trial de novo. And with regard to what he just filed yesterday, I just saw him this morning, so you can't hear that today until I have my 72 hours, so I can respond to that. So as far as this morning, the only thing we have is a status hearing. It's an eviction trial de novo, like this court just mentioned. I asked for a jury, and we will be filing our brief, and also we will be filing an estate on the individual, and we're gonna take this case to district court so they can decide who is the actual owner of this property, because that's a title dispute.
okay, and I'm assuming you're gonna submit the authority, and I just had a case like this here in Nueces County, actually, last week. So, okay, then what, I want to hear from then Ms. Diaz's attorney. So there's a title dispute is what I'm hearing, and I'm going to hear a little bit more about it. I'll come back to you, Mr. Guerra, to give me more information. Let me just let him.
And I am Mrs. Diaz's attorney.
You are Mrs. I'm so confused here. Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Ontiveros' attorney is then, or Miss Ontiveros' attorney is.
Mr. Flores.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the parties, so I promise this is why we're having the status hearing, to make sure I'm on par with what you need. So Flores represents Ontiveros, and Lulu Diaz is represented by Juan Guerra. Okay. Then let me hear from Ms. Ontiveros' attorney, Mr. Flores.
Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you. May it please the court, Robert Flores for the respondent, San Juanito Ontiveros. We object to Mr. Guerra's statements that are not in evidence or brought before this court. They can bring them up, I guess, at a trial de novo, which in the instant case is. However, the review is whether or not there was abuse of discretion. That's going to be the threshold that he has to show. Was there abuse of discretion when he granted that judgment? At the time he granted that judgment, Ms. Ontiveros, my client, was the only owner of record of the property. Mr. Guerra made a reference to a conveyance that he said, and he referred to Mr. Castro. It was not Mr. Castro. If you look at Exhibit B on my brief, which you're more entitled to look at right now, on March 19th of 2013, the petitioner, Ms. Diaz, granted her interest over to my client and the deceased, which that was on April 12th of 2021. 2013, excuse me, Judge. And it was recorded filed for with the Willacy County Clerk on April 12th. Oh, no, I pulled it up from the docket. Yes, it was filed for record on March 19th of 2013. Look, 0622, page 6109. And that's filed for record, Judge. And that, in the last 9 years, that has never been contested. So Ms. Diaz has no standing. She doesn't have a lease agreement. She's not married to the deceased. She has no interest in the property. Any kind of alleged probate proceedings that may come in the future, which have not, will most likely be dismissed because there is no common law marriage under the statute, which we know is a very difficult and evidence-based contention to establish a common law marriage in the state of Texas. There are no probate proceedings at this time, and therefore there's no other interest at this time. To say that something might happen in the future doesn't hold water. Case is very simple. We have a judgment where Mrs. Ms. Diaz is to remove herself from the property. We have a writ of possession that's pending. When the writ was about to be signed is when they filed this appeal, just to buy her more time. Should we go before the jury, we are going to ask for much more damages. We will ask for temporary orders to establish some monetary payment to my client, plus all fees and costs. And we file our counter petition and exercise that judgment to the fullest extent of the law.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Guerra, and I'm sorry I interrupted you. So, and again, the court is fully aware that what the attorneys say to the court is not evidence. So I expect that anything that Mr. Guerra is stating to the court will be proven. So you may continue. I know I interrupted you mid.
Well, Judge, the issue this morning is just a status. So everything that he's arguing, the only way that you can do this, whatever happened in the JP court, it's irrelevant. It's trial de novo, so period. So the only thing that can happen this morning is one, set it up for a jury trial, or whatever Mr. Flores is saying, he should put in a form of a summary judgment. At that point, I have enough time to go and open up a probate. He hasn't died more than 4 years. He just passed away last year. And so the probate will then be the one to make a decision as to who that property belongs to. And
Okay.
so he's either you set us up for a jury trial, or he files a summary judgment. Those are the only two alternatives that he has at this point. Whatever he filed yesterday, I don't have the time. I mean, 72 hours. It's just this court needs to reset it for later.
Mr. Guerra, you will be given the opportunity to respond, given the time frame in which it was filed. Okay, so, and again, for the court's edification, then, your client, tell me the relationship here of the clients again.
Miss my Lulu Diaz has been married or together with Juan Castro for many, many years. It's a common law marriage. It's not that difficult.
How many?
How long you been?
22 years.
22 years. And the documentation that he's referring to, that she transferred the property to his client back in 2013. Her signature is not there. The signature of they inadvertently made a mistake and got the signature of Miss Oltivero signed instead of Miss Lulu signed it. So that's Miss Lulu has never given her interest to anyone, period. And finally, again, when the government came in and his house burned down, the only way that he could have gone was the grants and granting and building him a brand new house. The government, I'm sure we're gonna get all the documentations where they made sure that whoever had an interest in that property was passed on to the deceased. Otherwise, they would have never built. The government would have never built the house, knowing that somebody else owned the property. And again, all this gonna be disputed on the estate, which I'm trying to decide. I think I'm just gonna open up an estate, because the estate would then make a decision to raise as to who is the legitimate or the district court. But at this point, if you just set it up for a CC conference, Your Honor, that's all you can do at this point.
Well, I can rule whether or not there's enough merits to continue. So I'm aware of what I can do. I guess I just want to know what you all want to do, and then I can set that up accordingly. So there
Right.
are documents in that have been filed, and which require a response, and I will give you the opportunity to respond as afforded by the law. I can take a look at that. I can also set y'all, there has a jury, have you made are they jury trial requests on file? Do we have a jury trial request on file?
Yes, ma'am. We paid the $40 jury fees
Okay, I
and
think
requested a jury
in writing.
in writing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I need to make sure if we can check in the court's file to make sure that we have that. And then I can, in the meantime, give you a DCC. We call it a DCC. I guess that's what y'all call it in Willacy.
Yes, ma'am, a docket control conference.
Yeah. Okay. And then give you a pretrial setting, and you can have any pretrial motions submitted, and give you an opportunity to respond, and I can hear any argument. And in the meantime, this document or this motion will require a response, and we'll go from there. Whatever
ma'am.
happens at the pretrial may or may not be dispositive of whether or not we proceed. But we will have a jury trial. And I know right now that's kind of up in the air right now. I think that, I don't know where we are as far as dates in Willacy as to jury trials, but we can work around whatever those dates may be. Okay. So, all right. Anything else right now, though?
No, ma'am, not from the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything from the respondent?
Yes, Your Honor, if you could give us a date on the hearing for my motion with enough, I mean, I think we can probably get that date now, since Your Honor will be hearing it.
Well, I think I've got to work with the court and then my schedule. Let me, what, Cheryl, how y'all working that? Or do you need just to go off and you can work it out with your judge, or?
Yes, first I need to see which dates are
Are
gonna be available.
Okay, so what we need to do, I don't think that we can give you that date, unfortunately, right now, for a couple of reasons. She's got to work with her presiding judge, and then I got to make sure that I'm available on some of those dates, and we'll give you a couple of dates to come back. In the meantime, I'll give Mr. Guerra an opportunity to respond and submit his.
That's fine. That's fine, Judge.
And then we can work from there. And then I'll order a DCC, and then we, again, I don't know. I can't even tell you when that's going to be because we don't know. But I know that the courts are opening up, and so let's see what we're going to do in the next couple of months. But we certainly will give it the attention it needs, and I will make myself available to make sure that this case is taken care of. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Judge.
Yes. Okay. And it's a pleasure to meet you all.
Hi,
And-
Judge.
As soon as you receive the response from Mr. Guerra, go ahead and forward that to me, Cheryl, and then get with me and we can figure out the dates to accommodate both gentlemen. Okay?
Judge, I don't have the motion or the order for the jury request on file.
Okay. Well, we need, go ahead and submit that, Mr. Guerra.
Has
Okay,
the fee paid?
yes, ma'am.
Has the fee been paid?
Yes.
It has been paid. Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. And
Thank you.
okay, be safe, and we'll be talking to y'all soon.
Have a nice day, Judge.
All right, bye-bye. And Cheryl, just get with me, and okay, well, I guess you're gonna, let me go ahead and let them, there you are. Yeah, we're gonna need I just tried a case like that to the bench, not to a jury, last